GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. We'll be breaking down Unifer's upcoming Ford contract ratification meetings, the yellow heat warning sweeping the GTA, and a quick look at tonight's heavy traffic near the RBC Amphitheatre. Also, a spotlight on Sweet Roots Bakery in Kensington Market. Over to you, Nathan.
The Moonlight Cruise 2026 sets sail from Harbourfront Centre this Friday, offering a 2-hour scenic ride, live acoustic performances, and a concluding fireworks display.
Tickets cost $30 for adults, $20 for seniors and students, with a family package of $100 covering 4 guests, available online and at the dock.
The vessel holds up to 300 passengers, departs at 7:30 p.m., includes complimentary refreshments, and follows all Transport Canada safety regulations for marine events.
Lots to get to. Let's begin our midday news, staying tuned for more details as the day unfolds together. Good morning, Toronto.
Unifer will begin a series of ratification meetings this Friday in Toronto, giving roughly 5,000 Ford employees across Canada a chance to vote on a tentative agreement reached over the weekend. The union says the sessions, scheduled from Friday through Sunday, will present the key terms of the new contract and field questions from members before a formal vote. Management at Ford Motor Co. has already signed off on the proposal, but final approval rests with the workforce. Union officials stress that the process is designed to ensure every member understands wage increases, benefit adjustments, and scheduling provisions outlined in the deal. Workers who cannot attend in person may be able to participate remotely, according to Unifer's communications. The outcome will shape labor management relations at Ford for the next bargaining period.
Ontario is shouldering an $8 million expense to store a $79 million inventory of U.S.-origin alcoholic beverages. Officials say the stockpile sits in provincial warehouses, funded by taxpayers, while roughly $2.6 million worth of bottles have already passed their expiration dates. No timeline or disposal plan has been announced, leaving the public without clarity on how the aging liquor will be handled. Critics point to the hidden cost of maintaining a foreign origin supply that offers no obvious benefit to Ontario residents. The government spokesperson declined to detail the reasons for the acquisition or the criteria used to determine when the products become unusable. As the expired portion grows, the province faces mounting pressure to justify the continued storage of a costly, now stale inventory. The accumulation spans several years, but officials have not disclosed why the imports were secured.
Environment Canada has placed the Greater Toronto Area under a yellow heat warning beginning today and running through Thursday. Meteorologists expect the heat wave to peak on Tuesday, with temperatures climbing to 37 degrees Celsius and a humidex that feels like 45. The yellow tier is the second level in the national heat alert hierarchy, meaning conditions are uncomfortable and can aggravate health issues without yet reaching emergency status. The advisory signals that humidex values are approaching the threshold that can strain vulnerable populations and increase the risk of heat-related illness. Residents are urged to stay hydrated, limit outdoor activity during the hottest periods, and check on neighbors who may be at risk. The warning remains in effect as the system monitors temperatures across the city and surrounding suburbs. Health officials will continue to issue updates should conditions worsen or the advisory be upgraded.
Toronto Tempo snapped a 4-game losing streak on Tuesday night in Montreal, edging New York Liberty 93-91 at the Bell Centre. Marina Mabrey led the charge, contributing a decisive scoring burst that helped the Tempo secure the narrow 2-point victory. The win came in the second of 2 Tempo contests scheduled at the Bell Centre this week, giving the squad a much-needed boost after dropping the previous 3 outings. With 30 points separating the teams over the course of the game, the contest remained tight until the final minutes, when Toronto's defense clamped down and forced a crucial turnover that set up the winning basket. The triumph not only stops the losing skid, but also improves the tempos standing as they head into the next round of games.
Yesterday, former Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie announced she is entering the race for mayor of Mississauga. Crombie, who stepped down from the municipal office to lead the Ontario Liberal Party, said the decision reflects her desire to return to local leadership after a brief stint at the provincial level. In a brief press conference in downtown Mississauga, she outlined her plan to focus on affordable housing, transit improvements, and supporting small businesses. Political observers note her prior 2 terms as mayor and her recent provincial profile could shape the upcoming municipal election. Crombie confirmed she will file the required nomination papers within the next week and will begin canvassing neighborhoods across the city. She also emphasized her commitment to environmental initiatives, citing recent storm water projects as a priority. The mayoral campaign is expected to draw several high-profile candidates as the race heats up.
Coming up, we dissect John Tory Jr.'s decision to end his Liberal nomination bid in Beaches, East York, plus more. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. Here, the latest headlines, and now Nathan Cole brings you the local stories you need to hear before you head out.
John Tory Jr. will suspend his Liberal nomination campaign today in the Beaches, East York riding. The decision comes as the party's nomination contest tightens ahead of a summer federal by-election triggered by the former MP's resignation. Tory said the compressed timeline for selecting a candidate, combined with strong backing for other hopefuls, left no realistic path to victory. His withdrawal narrows the field, leaving remaining contenders to vie for support from local voters who will soon decide who represents them in Parliament. Party insiders note that the shortened schedule forces candidates to rally quickly, and Tory's exit may shift fundraising and volunteer efforts toward the remaining hopefuls. Residents of Beaches, East York can expect intensified campaign activity in the weeks leading up to the by-election, as parties sharpen their messages and outreach.
Yesterday, Environment Canada rolled out heat warnings and air quality alerts stretching from Regina through Manitoba and Winnipeg, across northern and southern Ontario and into Quebec. The agency cited a sweeping heat wave that pushed temperatures into the 90s Fahrenheit, well above seasonal norms, and triggered elevated ozone levels. Officials warned that prolonged exposure could strain vulnerable populations and that poor air quality might aggravate respiratory conditions. Residents in the affected corridor were urged to stay hydrated, limit outdoor exertion during peak heat, and keep windows closed when possible to reduce indoor pollutant buildup. Hospitals in the region reported an uptick in heat-related visits, while schools adjusted schedules to avoid outdoor classes during the hottest hours. Commuters planning outdoor routes were advised to seek shade and carry water bottles. The agency will continue monitoring conditions and may extend advisories if the heat persists.
Ford Motor Company and the Unifor Union signed a tentative 3-year labor contract on July 12, covering roughly 5,000 Canadian auto workers. The deal spans 6 plants, 5 in southern Ontario and 1 in Alberta, and brings an end to weeks of negotiations between the two parties. By securing a 3-year framework, the agreement locks in work schedules for the employees at those facilities, allowing production to continue without interruption. For families that rely on steady employment at the plants, the settlement removes the uncertainty that had lingered over the past weeks. Auto dealers in the region can also anticipate a consistent flow of vehicles as the plants remain fully staffed under the new terms. The deal means that the workforce will continue its regular shift patterns, keeping the plants' operations stable and preserving the jobs that support many families in the surrounding neighborhoods.
On Sunday, the Blue Jays used their first-round slot in the MLB draft to select left-handed pitcher Cole Carlon from Arizona State. The pick came at 39 overall, adding a college arm to Toronto's young roster. Carlon spent his collegiate career with the Sun Devils, refining a left-handed delivery that the organization hopes will bolster its bullpen depth. The Major League Baseball draft, held annually in July, gives each franchise a series of selections based on the previous season's standings, allowing clubs to lock in amateur talent ranging from high school standouts to college stars. Toronto's choice reflects a focus on strengthening the mound as the team looks ahead to spring training. Fans will see Carlon in the organization's minor league system before a potential call-up, keeping the J's rotation options expanding as the season approaches.
Metrolinx confirmed that GO train service across the Greater Toronto Area suffered notable delays and several cancellations on Saturday afternoon. The operator traced the disruptions to a shortage of available crew members, a constraint that left many trains running behind schedule or not departing at all. Commuters heading to downtown offices, schools, and appointments reported crowded platforms and extended wait times as trains were held for crew changes. Metrolinx said the shortfall stemmed from recent staffing challenges and that it is working to restore normal frequencies. Riders were advised to check real-time updates before traveling and to consider alternative routes where possible. The shortage hit both north-south and east-west routes. Several commuters missed evening appointments and had to shift work plans. The agency emphasized that restoring full service remains a priority as it coordinates additional staffing resources to prevent further interruptions.
Now let's check the latest outlook with our weather team for your afternoon and evening plans.
A deepening ridge supplies scorching heat, while a sneaking jet stream trough threatens to stir the air. On this date, Toronto's all-time high sits at 34.4 degrees, set back in 2005 during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed temperatures well above the typical summer norm. The record low is 13.1 degrees, recorded in 2009 when an Arctic air mass slipped southward, snapping a string of unusually warm days. By contrast, the climatological July average hovers around 26 degrees for the high and 16 for the low, making today's expected warmth feel right on the hotter side of normal. The live radar shows a completely blank canvas across southern Ontario, no rain echoes in sight. That emptiness stems from the high-pressure dome anchored over the Great Lakes, which suppresses lift and keeps the air mass stable. With the jet stream racing northwestward at roughly 83 kilometers per hour, any disturbance would be sheared away before reaching us. We stay dry for the afternoon and the map will stay clear into the evening. At noon, Toronto sits under a clear sky with a temperature of 23 degrees, humidity near 68%, and a light southerly breeze of 5 kilometers per hour. A high-pressure center dominates, but it is beginning to fall, letting a weak trough nibble at the western edge of the ridge. That pressure loss, together with a fast northwestward jet stream at 83 kilometers per hour aloft, will advect warmer air from the interior, pushing temperatures toward a high of 30 degrees by mid-afternoon. The UV index climbs to 8, indicating intense solar heating. Winds will rise to around 21 kilometers per hour from the southwest, calm for most activities. A heat warning remains in effect, so monitor hydration and limit exertion. The dry atmosphere keeps the afternoon cloudless as we move to the 5-day outlook. Looking ahead, Tuesday brings a scorching high of 36 degrees and a low of 22, but clouds will blanket the city, cutting solar intensity. Wednesday follows with a high of 33 and a low of 23 under continued overcast skies, keeping heat indices elevated. Thursday remains similar, 31 high and 23 low, still cloud-covered, offering little relief. Friday's pattern shifts as a weak frontal system drifts in, delivering a high of 25 and a low of 18 with around 40% chance of rain, the first measurable precipitation of the week. Saturday eases further, high 23, low 18, partly cloudy with another 40% rain probability, suggesting a lingering moisture surge as the weekend closes. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's heavy near RBC Amphitheater, Moonlight Cruise 2026 sails tonight, and the American League's 6-1 Futures win. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Gardiner Expressway southbound on ramp at Finch Avenue is closed, forcing drivers onto the Finch-Dixon corridor and adding a few minutes to downtown trips. Fleet Street between Angelique and Strachan remains shut as crews build event infrastructure for the RBC Amphitheater, so detour traffic is spilling onto King and Queen. Fort York Boulevard from Angelique to Lake Shore West is also blocked, redirecting vehicles onto Bathurst and Spadina. Along Lake Shore Boulevard, eastbound lane restrictions run from Ontario Drive to Strachan Avenue, slowing the flow of event-related traffic but leaving the rest of the corridor clear. Aside from those event zones, road conditions across the city are calm and travel times are normal. No transit delays are reported this morning, and the TTC routes continue on schedule. Expect the same pattern this afternoon. The event-related closures stay in place, but the broader network should remain steady.
Tonight the River Gambler rolls out a moonlight cruise on Lake Ontario, a breezy, sunset-lit ride perfect for a quick escape before the week starts. It's an ideal date night or solo unwind with city lights shimmering on the water. Across town, Buck Meek takes the stage with Kisser at the Great Hall, delivering an intimate folk rock set that will linger in your playlist. This is one of the few chances to see the former Big Thief guitarist live in Toronto. The Toronto International Film Festival opens with the world premiere of Being Human, a biopic set to spark conversation and shape the festival's tone. The Outsiders musical is running now, bringing a Tony-winning Broadway hit to Toronto's theaters for a gritty coming-of-age experience you won't want to miss. Grab tickets fast. That's your lunch break snapshot of what's happening today and what's on the horizon. And now here's Marcus with sports.
All right, here's the latest on Toronto's baseball prospects and season outlook. The American League edged the National League 6-1 in the All-Star Futures game. Toronto's top prospect Joe Parker came close to a homer before driving in a run with a double, while Canadian Rays prospect Nathan Flewelling launched a home run and earned MVP honors. Reliever Jeff Hoffman surrendered a late eighth-inning lead on the road, allowing the opposition to rally past the Blue Jays. The loss caps a first-half campaign marked by missed chances and frustration as Toronto heads into the All-Star break. Joe Parker and right-hander Perry reunited as Toronto's representatives in Sunday's Futures game, showcasing the club's young talent. Canadian prospect Nathan Flewelling also made a strong impression, adding to the Blue Jays' presence in the showcase.
Sweet Roots Bakery on Augusta Street in Kensington Market is turning heads with its grand opening this July. Chef Maya Miller, a former hotel pastry chef, brings a fully plant-based menu, vegan croissants, scones, and gluten-free treats baked fresh each morning. She hired 8 staff members, all passionate about cruelty-free baking, to meet the neighborhood's rising demand for healthier options. The shop is more than a storefront. It's designed as a community hub where locals can gather for coffee, workshops, and seasonal market tables. In a city that thrives on diversity and sustainable choices, Sweet Roots reminds us that good food can be kind to the planet and to each other every day. And later, we'll celebrate Sweet Roots Bakery's grand opening, serving vegan pastries fresh from Kensington Market. Stay tuned for feel-good stories.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on gmna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
Toronto is gearing up to host several FIFA World Cup 2026 TM matches and a citywide fan festival, transforming the historic Fort York waterfront into a global soccer stage, as thousands of supporters are expected to flood the shoreline while local vendors prepare pop-up zones and live music. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on the grassy promenade of Fort York, the stone ramparts framing the skyline, and the scent of lake breezes mixes with the buzz of flags waving from every nation. Workers are raising a massive, colorful canopy that will shelter the FIFA World Cup 2026 fan festival, as the city prepares for 6 World Cup matches later this summer, while vendors set up kiosks selling poutine and Brazilian pastelitos. The historic cannons sit beside a sea of screens already testing live feeds of past World Cup moments. Hundreds of volunteers in orange vests are checking tickets, their smiles reflecting the excitement of families gathering for what will become a weekend of soccer, music, and street art. The city expects thousands of fans to flood the waterfront, turning this heritage site into a stage that celebrates Toronto's multicultural heartbeat. It's more than a tournament, it's a chance for neighbors from every corner of the world to share a common chant under same sky. Carl Dumont, virtually at Fort York National Historic Site.
At the Bell Centre in Montreal, the air was electric as more than 40,000 fans filed in, setting a new league attendance record for a WNBA game. The Dallas Wings arrived in blue and gold, ready to face the brand new Toronto Tempo, a team still finding its rhythm. From the opening tip, the crowd's roar rose with every fast break, and a little girl in a handmade Tempo jersey waved a glittering pom-pom that caught the light each time she cheered. The Wings moved with precision, slipping past the Tempo's defense to build a steady lead that stretched to 108-95 by the final buzzer. Yet the story of the night was not just the score. When Tempo rookie Maya Patel sank a three-pointer at half-court, the arena erupted, and even opposing fans rose to applaud the young player's poise. The shared applause reminded everyone that the love of the game can bridge cities and rivalries. As the lights dimmed, the record crowd left with a feeling that basketball is more than a scoreboard. It's a community that grows stronger with every cheer.
In the leafy corner of Dufferin Grove Park, on the quiet stretch of Dufferin Street just east of the playground, a modest parking sign was quietly updated last week. The amendment trimmed the hours for curbside loading, a change that slipped past the eyes of many but caught the attention of a handful of drivers who rely on accessible permits. Maria Alvarez, who uses a wheelchair, arrived to find her usual spot now marked, "No stopping," and felt the sting of exclusion. Neighbors, aware of the oversight, gathered at the park's picnic tables, sharing stories of how that single space had become a lifeline for grocery trips and doctor visits. Within a few days, the local community association drafted a simple petition, and city staff responded, agreeing to restore the permit-only designation during the revised hours. The sign now reads a clear reminder that the space remains reserved for those who need it most. It's a small victory, but one that shows how a neighborhood's quiet compassion can reshape a policy and keep our streets welcoming for everyone.
Thanks for joining us, Toronto. Enjoy your evening. Today's highlight was the tentative 3-year deal between Ford and Unifor, a milestone for our workforce. I'm Jordan Parker, and I look forward to bringing you more insight tomorrow. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you back on the lunch break.